The constant usage of social media impacts everyday life and people's perception of who the real you is. A prime example of this claim that I sense to have is from Guy Debord in his piece, The Commodity as Spectacle. When people are scrolling on social media, they are looking at the things in front of them. The commodity that Debord is referring to is vision. We as people only see what is in front of us, but not what it took to create what is in front of us. It plays on the debate of representation versus reality and appearance versus reality. The spectacle's function that Debord refers to is to reinforce the status quo.
Hey, Magician Adam Wilbur here. I'm going to take your reality and twist it a little bit by playing with your perception. Let me show you what I mean. We'll use a white piece of paper and the world's most common puzzle, the Rubik's Cube. The idea is simple. I'm going to take the Rubik's Cube, cover it up, and place it on top of a sheet of paper. Now that should give an illusion of a Rubik's Cube floating in midair over a piece of paper. See, depending on how your brain works, you'll see this as one of two things. You'll see the optical illusion of a Rubik's Cube floating in midair, or you'll see the reality of the folded paper that makes that illusion work. It all depends on how your brain works. Pretty cool, huh? And as a magician, my job is to take things you see as an optical illusion or false and turn them into reality, like this. Or vice versa.
Speaking of the commodity, Dallas Smythe in his work On the Audience Commodity and Its Work segues and supports the claim that constant social media impacts everyday lives of users. Smythe supports this claim by addressing the mass media audience as a commodity. Smythe also addresses the production consciousness being mass market goods or services by using audience power. Audience power being what challenges the power of media and indicates practical consciousness. I think the audience power that Smythe is referring to is something like users on Instagram or Twitter or even Facebook. The reaction that people have to certain things, that is what fuels the audience power. And that's what makes things be the trend or not the trend. It's what people follow or don't. Jürgen Habermas, in his piece, The Public Sphere, an encyclopedia article, piggybacks off the idea that social media impacts everyday life, but takes an approach that public opinion is what allows social media and its trends to thrive. Habermas defines the public sphere as the realm of our social life in which something approaching public opinion can be formed. Based on Habermas's theory, social media promotes the formation of the public sphere. Social media thrives off of the opinion of other people. Because of the constant demand of the public opinion, people on social media will constantly change themselves to conform. A final support of my claim that social media impacts people's everyday life and perception is from C.L. Mason's piece, Tinder and Humanitarian Hookups, The Erotics of Social Media Racism. This piece focuses on how people change their appearance to make themselves look more appealing to others on Tinder. They do something called humanitarianism. For example, they pose themselves doing volunteer work or something that society would deem commendable to get more attraction. Not saying that they don't volunteer or give back to the community, but honestly, that just could have been a photo op to make themselves look better.
And that's why we're so obsessed with technology. Because it's not like this technology is really, I mean, it's certainly enhancing our lives in a certain way, but ultimately, is it making people happier right now? Most technology, I would say no. In fact, you and I were talking about social media before this, about just not having Instagram on your phone and not dealing, and you feel better.
Yes, I think One of the issues with social media, it's been pointed out by many people, is that I think maybe particularly Instagram, people look like they have a much better life than they really do.
Right.
So
By design.
yeah, people are posting pictures of when they're really happy. They're modifying those pictures to be better looking. Even if they're not modifying the pictures, they're at least selecting the pictures for the best lighting, the best angle. So people basically seem they're way better looking than they basically really are.
Right.
And they're way happier seeming than they really are. So if you look at everyone on Instagram, you might think, man, they're all these happy, beautiful people, and I'm not that good looking and I'm not happy. So I must suck, you know, and that's gonna make people sad. So when in fact, those people you think are super happy, actually not that happy. Some of them are really depressed. They're very sad. Some of the happiest seeming people, actually some of the saddest people in reality. And nobody looks good all the time. It doesn't matter who you are.
No.